やめてください。
どうぞお選びください。
In a future where all the man-hating women of TikTok get their wish and the new ball-busting variant of COVID kills 99.9% of men, the women are left with one important question. Who will build all the bridges and make stuff? Certainly not them. But luckily, right before all the men died, because of a cell disease, 5 brave chads were frozen in gamer girl pee, supplied by the best of the best. When one awakes 5 years later, he then learns the hard truth that all his Halo Reach buddies have passed on to that big anime convention in the sky. And now, Rito-san will have to live the rest of his life as a stud and mate with many waifus to save the human race. The only problem is right before being frozen in Gamer Girl P, brought to you by Mountain Dew, he fell in love with one bitch and now must journey to find her in a time where all the women hate using sex toys and will take full advantage of him on sight. So join him in this poorly censored Crunchyroll anime. Like, this is the most lazy censoring I've ever seen. Matter of fact, go ahead and just watch this on a no website like Hentai Haven or BitChute. After getting settled, this main anime protagonist decides to search for his long-lost love, while his handler, Myra, tries to get him to sin at every chance she gets. Because the more he sins, the more Chuck E. Cheese reward tickets she gets. And we all know the one thing anime women love most of all is a good pizza. After much plot developments, like meeting the first guy to come out of the frozen gamer girl P, Rado learns that the male virus that wiped out 99% of men was not natural and was in fact man-made. With this knowledge, he must now be even more careful, for the evil, man-hating women of TikTok have been hard at work. We now cut to a flashback about the third man who just so happens to be a loser virgin in high school that gets made fun of for listening to K-pop and Playboy Cardi. His one and only friend is his piano teacher, Yuzuki, and after being told he has an incurable disease and he needs to be frozen in gamer girl pee for at least 5 years, when he wakes up, the elite class of women decide to put him in an all-girls school where he has to sleep in their dorms, and every classmate thinks he's the only man alive, with the main goal of turning this virgin beta into a Chad, pussy, slaying Sigma male. Later on, he meets his old teacher, Yuzuki, and then fucks her like there's no tomorrow. 1 week of laying down that pipe later, he notices the girls have a swimming competition, only to find out that the winner gets to sleep in his dorm. The first of many temptations to come. Now back to the main protagonist. After many days of not sleeping with any women because of his one true love, this beta male is going on almost 6 years of no-nut transcendence and is working hard to find a cure for the disease. At the same time, since he has yet to mate, his handler is yet to receive any Chuck E. Cheese tickets or V-Bucks, so she gets fired and replaced by 2 other chicks. One who hates all men, and a redhead. Being unemployed, his old handler Myra will tag along for free food and water. Now with the entourage of women, Rado-san travels to the city where the first man got the ball-busting virus to find out more clues on its sinister origins. Along the way, he yells at the redhead, causing her to spill water on her one and only set of clothing. When she tries to clean up, the anime shows us a master class on exposition by having her be fully naked while giving it. She talked about the virus or some shit. I wasn't paying attention. Turns out the city of Ground Zero is also a hot spring, so get ready for lots of good old-fashioned lewd and wacky scenes, like all the girls making him wash their backs, or this American woman threatening Rado by saying she will scream if he does not fuck her, on ironically being the most realistic scene in the anime. After days of talking to the old widow, the first guy who got the virus, she's confused on why Rado-san has yet to mate with any of the women and asks if he's gay. He goes on to explain how he's in love with one special girl, and they come to the conclusion that he is in fact a beta male. The old lady is secretly also in contact with the love of his life, and out of respect for them, she decides to tell him all about her late husband. Then she gets poisoned and starts dying. But she had a plan to help Rado-san by giving him a picture. Gee, thanks lady. Now we get to see more of the first man who was released. He went from a chump in his old life to a total Chad in this one. But with all these women, it's not enough. He wants something more. And it turns out he wants Rado-san's underage sister. And with that, we learn his true identity all along. He's no Chad. He's Cosmodor.
Could have been a celebrity, I was grooming kids!
Back to the main plot. Akane is suspicious of Rito's new handler, Rhea. We then get another masterclass in exposition. Rhea is obviously up to something, and she's also a lesbian. Now we're talking. The other guy begs Rado for a chance to meet his younger sister, and Rado is like, damn bro, chill. Rado then gets ambushed in the shower for another quick info dump. The Justice League of Lying Women decide that with tensions high, Rado-san should hand out resources publicly. All of the incel women who demand a government-issued boyfriend show up. One of them is so black-pilled she tries to assassinate Rado, but not so fast. That hot lesbian chick from 2 minutes ago busts a cap in her ass. Also, Rhea is in love with Myra. Finally, Mahiru meets the creepy guy who is in love with her. She rejects him, and he gets all sad and stuff. None of the other girls do it for him now. But enough of those cucks. Let's get back to the goat of the show, Shoto-san. He has been slaying so much poontang that all the women are fighting over him. One of his classmates literally forces herself on him and ties him up so he can't run away. Karen, Shoto-san's handler, even makes a new rule where he has to have a new school girlfriend every day and is forced to give them at least a good morning kiss. And with that, Alex Jones was right. State enforced boyfriends confirmed. My man is truly on that Sigma male grind set. But alas, like any woman named Karen, she ain't up to no good. In a flashback, we see this one girl who was never really mean to Shoto-san, but every time he would get bullied, she would just pretend he wasn't there. Fast forward to the current times, and she has come back to the school, trying to get a piece of Shota's holy seed. None of the other girls like her because she's like 23, and Shoto-san knows she only wants him so she can get an acting job after hooking up. It all makes sense, because in this world, it's all women. So if you want to stand out and be famous, then you gotta sleep with a man. So Karen says she should work for it, and she does.
来た来た。じゃあ早速始めようか。
始めるってここで？せめてどこかの部屋で。
僕はここでしたいんだよ。
私ここで食べたい。
君たちもよく見てて。どうしたの？仕事が欲しいんじゃないの？
After that, Karen tells Shota that he's too easy on the women and should let loose and be as crazy as he wants. And crazy he gets because he asks for his old high school bully's girlfriend. So this is where I was like, what the fuck, this kid is a savage. He has all these women fighting over him, and he turned the one girl who used to help hurt him into his pet, and she just stays chained up watching him get it on. Oh yeah, and she's also a junkie. Now back to the main plot. A lot of blah blah goes on with the World HQ coming to visit, and they're like mad because Japan has been hiding all the men. It was hard to follow any of what they're talking about with no nudity. They should just stick to their masterclass formula on exposition. My boy Shota is still getting it on with everyone at every chance he gets, even the nurse. But one new girl is dodging him, and it turns out that she's working with Arisa. Rado-san and company investigate this abandoned hospital to find out where the virus came from. After finding a secret vent, they find a lab. Shit is about to go down. But don't forget, the animators don't get paid to make fight scenes. They get paid to make softcore hentai, goddammit.
ここを見られたからにはただで返すわけにはいかないね。
The crazy American lady from the other episode saves them, and it turns out she's a super secret spy for the UWHQ of crazy old cat ladies. They escape the hospital while it blows up. Meanwhile, back at the Japanese UW headquarters, the Japanese directors get arrested for manufacturing and spreading the virus, as well as hiding all the men by storing them in gamer girl pea pods. Cut back to Rado-san flying in a helicopter. They notice a bomb go off in the distance. It's the school. Shoto-san risks his life for Erika while the school is falling apart, and because of that, he passes out and dreams about his one true love, his high school teacher. After he wakes up, all of his bitches confront him, and Karen tells him that they will be heading to the UW headquarters because it's no longer safe for them. But not before telling him that he is not the only man in the world. Shoto-san gets Karen to confess her true motives. She wishes to become the supreme leader of women, and offers to make Shota #1 if he helps. He agrees, and the start of a new character arc for Shoto-san begins. The women terrorists who captured Shoto-san failed, but they did manage to get the #4 man who was frozen. Rado-san learns about all the attacks and that his long-lost girl is one of the leaders of the organization. And with that, we get to see how all the American women FaceTime each other naked when discussing important evil business. They decide that men should not be allowed to mate, and they take Himo-san's main bitch from him. After he finds out that he will have blue balls, he gets mad and yells at the big titty American woman. We get another shower scene with an info dump, but this time it's just gonna be a wet t-shirt competition. Nothing like a girl telling you about how her brother died and her mother, who is one of the UW directors, didn't even go to his funeral or some shit. It's really hard to tell with shots like these. Next, the terrorist women hack the airwaves to announce to the world that the UW is evil and wants to kill all men. With this info, Rado-san confronts them, and the American woman threatens him with a good time. So he leaves. We get another info scene where she FaceTimes the Justice League of Bitches, and they talk about more evil plans. Rado-san decides that they will have to leave and find his girl Erisa, but not before meeting Shoto-san?
いらっしゃいました。
高校生誰だ？水原玲斗さんですね。はい。はじめまして。
After Karen and Shota arrived in the UW, they gave him a complete makeover. Part of that was putting him in not Gamer Girl P, but Gamer Woman P, which instead of freezing him in time, it made him age faster. They also made his eyes better so he doesn't need glasses. And here we have it. A beta meets the one and only Sigma male. After lots and lots of talking, Shoto-san asks Karen about Yuzuki. She tells him Yuzuki is somewhere safe, and then he thinks about her for exactly 12 hours and 13 minutes. Damn. That high school teacher pussy must have been bussin'. We then get another shower scene where Rado-san is trying to convince Myra to leave with him, and she says, "I'll leave if we do it." And what do you know? Rado-san is about to get it on before being cocked-blocked by the Americans. Karen then makes a deal with the UW to let Shoto-san mate, as well as further her plans for world domination. This is also the part where I realized this episode was running on a budget of at least $4.27, because almost like half of the dialogue is not animated. Even the sex scene with Shoto-san and his bitches is like 2 frames long. Rado-san and friends get to a boat. He then says goodbye to Myra and leaves, with one of the cult girls telling them they're off to Taiwan. He gets a tablet that can communicate with Himo-san, and then finally, after 5 years of no nuts, he meets Erisa. And that's it! Season 1 of World's End Harem. I gotta say, this anime was a lot more fun to watch than I thought it was gonna be, but mainly for Shoto-san. He had the best plotline in the story by far. Hopefully we get a season 2 so I can see what happens to him and if Rito-san will finally get laid. But other than that, I don't get why people got triggered over this anime. It makes no sense for Crunchyroll to censor it, especially if you pay for Crunchyroll Premium. That'd be like HBO putting black bars on 80% of the screen while you see titties in Game of Thrones. Shit is whack. When I was researching this anime, I found out that it was made by a woman, which, not gonna lie, that was a surprise to me. But all those dumb bitches on Twitter saying this show is sexist can get fucked. Anyway, to the 2 people watching, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it some love with a like, and comment your thoughts about this anime down below. And don't forget to do what your step babysitter has already done, and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thanks everyone, I'll see you later.